What is the difference between your store and a 7-figure Etsy store? Are they following the same rules as you? Are they selling the same products as you? And most importantly, what are they doing differently than you? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Dave. If you're new here, please hit subscribe. I do new videos all the time on self-improvement and e-commerce. Shout out to everybody grabbing the free 10-minute calls in the description below. If you're interested in working with me hands-on, one-on-one, definitely grab a free 10-minute call, as well as the free Etsy Ads cheat sheet in the description below. So let's get started. I've worked with hundreds, if not thousands, of 6- and 7-figure stores, growing their stores, improving their stores, saving them their stores. So what is the difference, both mindset-wise and logistically, that makes them different from a store that is either struggling to grow or a brand new store? Maybe you want to learn what I'm about to tell you in order to implement it early on in your journey. Maybe you want to learn what I'm about to tell you in order to implement it mid-journey or wherever you are. Let's jump right into it. The first thing that I've noticed with Etsy sellers that make 6 and 7 figures is that's either before coming to me as a student or after coming to me as a student. It's both, definitely, is that they are very diligent, all right? They're very attentive to what is happening in their store. A lot of people can get caught up in this mindset, I feel like, and that is, if I just do the right things that everyone else is telling me, I'm going to succeed on Etsy. But that's not always the case. You can do what I tell you. You can do what another coach tells you. But if you don't have your finger on the pulse, understanding why you're doing something and how you can improve it if it doesn't work, or if it doesn't work as good as you wanted it to the first time, if you don't have your finger on the pulse of your Etsy store, of your work ethic, of your business period, and you're just kind of inputting work, inputting actions, expecting it to output things to you, yeah, that works. But diligence in all those areas pays off immensely, because when you have that level of diligence that I'm describing here, it's not a matter of if your store is going to do well. It's a matter of when it's going to do well. I've met students and I've coached students that have been extremely teachable, extremely moldable, and extremely hungry for information. Listen to it, take it in, ask me questions based on it, ask me really good questions. But then I've had students that are quite the opposite, that simply just do what my courses say, do what I tell them to, and that's good. You can absolutely get success from that. But if you're not understanding it from a holistic standpoint, it's much better if you do. It's much better if you're diligent in your own self-development and your store. That's what I'm getting at. Essentially, be a go-getter, be diligent, and have your finger on the pulse of your store, of your own mind, and of your situation. That's number one. Diligence. Number two, this is for the 7-figure stores, is that it's been underserved products. So the store that I'm thinking of, literally 7 products, 6-7 products, doing over $1 million a year. So an extremely underserved niche. Now, not everybody can take that right now and just go and make the product that he was selling. But I just wanted to share that with you because it's good to know the full landscape of Etsy.com, where sellers are. If you're making things that are in a competitive niche, that's okay. You can still find opportunity. The essence of this point is finding an opportunity that is underserved, even within your niche. There can be there's almost always opportunities in print on demand. For example, if we're talking about print on demand, for example, whenever Printify or Printful or whoever comes out with a brand new thing to print on, a lot of the times, the first batch of sellers to get even an existing saturated niche onto those products in a quick time, they'll capture a lot of that pre-hype sales. Not hype, but more or less discovery, when a customer base is discovering, oh, this is on this product now, and it's usually comes, you can usually utilize that discovery phase of a product when it's a very unique product. Like, for example, when car seat covers first came out with print on demand years ago, or when backpacks were first able to print on years ago, people weren't used to seeing such custom backpacks, and it was very easy to sell back then when those products were very underserved. So let this be, a learning example too. Yeah, the 7-figure store I just mentioned had a very underserved product, sure. And many of them do, but there are situations, and there are plenty of 7-figure stores on Etsy that sell in competitive niches. How can you jump into a higher level of success is to jump on those new opportunities that I'm mentioning. And I just gave you a good example of that. So number 3 here is long-time sellers plus never quitting. So if you don't quit and you have consistent sales and you just never quit, and you're continuing to grow and you're continuing to grow, you can see an explosive growth after a number of years. That's very possible, but a lot of people have short attention spans when it comes to Etsy.com because you jumped on it quickly and you might jump off it quickly. So the stores that really make it are stores that are, going back to the first point, diligent. But in order to be diligent, you really have to care. You actually have to care. And in order to care, oftentimes it's either a mix of work ethic or caring about the product, meaning it's a craft. Meaning you make the product, or it's a craft using a skill that you developed over years. So, you're less likely to stop selling based on fickle results if you're a family business that's already been selling for years but wants to make their way onto Etsy. That's just a small example, but the main essence of the point is caring about the product enough to never quit. Or at the bare minimum, hustle mode. The hustle mode version of that is caring about results enough to never quit. And that might mean shutting that unsuccessful store down in order to start a new one. Final trait of 6- and 7-figure Etsy sellers that I want to share with you today is that they are way less emotional when it comes to their business. Now, it can be tough to not ride that emotional roller coaster that comes with either starting a business or managing a business. However, whether they're coming into it or have already managed a 6- or 7-figure business, when I have come into contact with them and what I have had to develop for myself is that the emotions have no place in a business that is successful. You have to think with your left brain when it comes to business, not your right brain. You do not want to be emotional. The more calm and collected you can be when making decisions. For example, I mentioned this in a previous video where your Etsy ads, if you're changing your budget often, that's going to rock the boat so much that you might not even ever get momentum in your Etsy ads. So where does that budget change come from? That comes from emotional turbulence. So the best thing you can do is to be less emotional when it comes to running your business. If you don't see the results that you want, that's okay, but don't make stupid decisions based off of it. If you decide to do something, do it. If you get emotional, recognize that. That's the first step. Recognize that you might be emotional and get that under control, because it's only going to help you if you can manage your emotions in a proper way. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to work with me one-on-one, the link is in the description to book a free call with me. I'll tell you how I can grow your store. I'll meet with you. I'll tell you what I think of your store, and I'll tell you about my one-on-one coaching program. And you can also grab the free resources, the free Etsy Ads ebook in the description as well, or you can just email me directly. In the meantime, I hope you have a beautiful day. God bless.